Good morning, everybody. Rub my hands together. It's Friday. Everybody's enjoying themselves. It's been a pretty good week here at United People's TV Towers. I want to say a big shout out to everybody who's got involved in the live shows, in all the videos. This is the first week of the studio, and I tell you what, I feel settled now. It feels nice. And you know what? Part of that is because I'm watching United actually act like a genuine club who knows what they're doing. We're acting like a competent top-level club this week. The Cunha deal's done. And Mbeumo, we're going to speak about the latest on that. And we're going to have conversations today about Gyokeres and Osimhen. I really didn't think that we would be having a conversation about either of them, but I think it's worth a conversation now. That's what I would call it. We won't get excited and say that the deals are on, but I might have been wrong about the Gyokeres situation. We'll also speak about sales. We'll speak about other signings. And it's Friday, so we'll bring the map out later. Do we have a here we go? Not this morning. We'll find out later. If there will be. You know exactly where to come. Let me see who's here from the mod and the member gang. Let's have a quick look. T, I saw you there. Nice to see you again, buddy. It's been a while. Steph, nice to see you there as well. Alex, you're here. Josh, you're there as always. We've got Volpez. We've got Sean. We've got Reggio. We've got lots of new faces here as well. Let's give a shout out to some of the non-members. We've got Zonny. We've got Sarab, Brian. We've got Malanga. We've got Midgood, Uj, and Egbert. Hey, Bert. Gifted 5 memberships. Ernie. Big up Sesame Street. That's a bit of a random little segue there. Lots of sales needed indeed, Akash, and we'll get into that. But let's run through the news, as always. I covered stuff around United just to begin the show. Now I'm sure for absolute belter of a game last night. And there's been a lot of talk about Turkey. And, of course, he's going to be going, by the looks of things, he's going to be going to City for a cut price. We know that it's was it 30 million euros? Thereabouts. Why? Somebody say it in the chat. Why is it that no one else is coming for him? Is it to do with the concerns and questions over, I don't know, attitude and application in training or how he carries himself off the pitch? I don't know exactly. I can only go on like sort of surface level news and reports and I suppose a little bit of speculation. Because clearly he's an absolute baller. And I don't know. I just find it a little bit interesting. Oh, actually, yeah, I might have turned my mic down accidentally. 1 second here. That should be a little bit better there, right? No, I think that should be better. Oh no, that's a bit too loud. If anybody's getting any sort of muting errors, then make sure you refresh the app. I think it was going in and out because I was changing my mic yesterday, so that should be fine now. Everybody refresh and we should be back in the game. I was sorting out the speakers, headphones. I was doing some audio stuff, so that should be a little bit better. I think I accidentally turned my mic down. Thank you very much. See, I do listen to the chat sometimes, but we should be good now, right? Turkey, somebody say down there, right? Why is it that no one's in for him? I'll be totally honest, I don't particularly know. He's not the only one as well. I look at him and I like in terms of why I didn't think that he would be the ideal signing for United this summer is it just strikes me as a player where the team has to be really kind of complete around him to make the most of him. And I think City will be a more stable environment than United is right now. I think that's just kind of what it is. Anyway, speaking of City, how have City managed to get Ait-Nouri this cheap? I thought he was going to go for like if he was linked with Man United, we'd be talking about, I don't know, 50 odd mil. 40 million euros. And I was doing some reading this morning. It turns out that the club that... Was it Rennes? I can't remember where they signed him from. The club that Wolves signed him from inserted a... No, is it Angers? I can't remember. Either way. They inserted a 50% sell-on clause that had a 9 mil buyout. So Wolves are having to pay 9 million to avoid having to give 20 million away. So they're actually only getting 30 mil. For Ait-Nouri. It just seems cheap. It just seems cheap. I think you look at Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth to Liverpool, he's going to be looking towards 40, to 45 million sterling. Janko, you're saying Dorgu was 30 million. Was that euros? I think it was euros. Strange. I think it's pretty cheap. That's all. I think it's pretty cheap. City are crooked. They get a lot of... I have no idea. Bit annoying, really. Right. Let's move on and let's speak about United. That's the sort of... Just wanted to cover stuff that I saw yesterday. And as I said, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's just been a part of United People's TV. This week, even yesterday, we did a double drop. It felt... I only ever do 2 videos in one day when I feel like it's really appropriate. And yesterday, I did a video sort of covering United's start of the summer. And it's just refreshing to see. That's the only way I would describe it. It's ridiculously refreshing to see. We asked for it last summer. I thought last summer was better, but that was compared to all the summers that came before. Now, this summer, we are cracking on. I think we had a conversation yesterday saying, when do we expect the Mbeumo? Here we go. I'll speak about the Mbeumo deal next, but probably not too far away. Cunha's done. United need to crack on with sales, and we'll speak about the sales a little bit later. Yeah, and Simi skimmed. I did say this last summer, and this summer has completely exceeded it. We've already got the Cunha deal done before June. We've already got a bid in for a second player, Mbeumo, and they're probably going to be our 2 biggest signings of the summer, depending on what goes on with the striker. United are improving. Last summer was an improvement on the summer before. This summer is an improvement already on the beginning of last summer. United are heading in the right direction, trending in the right direction, as far as how we're acting in the summer transfer windows. I actually think last summer was a decent window. Could have been better, sure. We'll find out. And yeah, the second video was a follow-on from the conversation we had about PSR. And how I find this really strange, right? I find this really odd how kind of out of nowhere, the start of June, Mark Critchley from The Athletic and somebody who's actually done the research and looked into it has realised that the Premier League rules state that the accounts used for PSR have to be registered in the UK. If somebody had just looked at that rule before and understood it, then everybody would have known that Manchester United's actual top-level accounts, which are the ones published to everybody, are not the ones that count for PSR. I just don't know why that only came out yesterday. It's a bit weird. But it's new information, and it's good information for us. It actually means our accounts are not the... And it kind of pulls into context now, all the stuff that we've heard Ratcliffe saying about United going broke. And I don't know where the staff costs go for United, whether they go on to Rev Football Limited. I covered it all in the video yesterday because it's all about corporate accounting structure, so I won't bore everyone with that conversation again, but just thank you for supporting what we're doing. And I hope you... It's not a case of us hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you learned something from that video. That was the reason I did it. It was more of an informative video. The more fun video was the one before. That's kind of an opinion one. Mate. Villa are screwed when it comes to PSR. And I'm looking forward to, hopefully, United taking advantage of it. Right? That's what I want to see United do. Go after them. Ooh, show you a few of these, right? So I'm ringing up Royal Mail today to try and get the confirmed date for the PO box. But I'm going to show you a couple of things that I'm going to put up there. Number one, this. So that there is my Anfield ticket. It's the first time I've actually went to Anfield. And we drew 0-0, naturally. But I'm going to pin that up there. I thought that would be a cool thing to have. And I found this randomly. This is from 2011. United against Birmingham. Obviously, you can't see it. And I haven't got auto zoom on this because this lens has only got manual zoom. So you're just going to have to trust me. People's down there. Viagogo, man. Viagogo, does that still exist? Absolutely rinsed me, that place of tickets. Anyway, it was United against Birmingham at Old Trafford on the 22nd of January, 2011. Again, I thought it'd be a pretty cool thing. And this is the hat that was given away. I think that was on the seats for the FA Cup final. I didn't go to the FA Cup final. I went to the League Cup final. I lost that scarf. But Matt, big up to Matt. He sent me that. So those I'm gonna pin those three things up there. Can start the sort of memorabilia board. Yeah, Joe, I'm pretty sure that game against Birmingham was when Berbatov scored a hat-trick. Let's find out. Man United, Birmingham, January 2011. Man United, Birmingham, 22nd of Jan, 2011. Yeah. Oh, I continue to cite. Since when would BBC not a secure site? Right. Just show me who scored the goals. There you go. Berbatov scored a hat-trick. Giggs and Nani. Look at the team we had. Van der Sar, Vidic, Smalling. The Smalling. Only Chris Smalling. Evra, O'Shea, Anderson, Carrick, Giggs, Nani, Rooney, Berbatov. Jeez. Anyway, that's going to go on the board. Right. Let's speak about current stuff, right? And Mbeumo. The first bid's already gone in. We know that. But I want to speak about this because this is just... It's just making me laugh so much, man. There is a lot of copium going on around Tyneside right now. And Luke Edwards, for the Telegraph, he's absolutely losing his marbles. I've had it confirmed by multiple sources this evening. Newcastle were never actually in for Cunha. And Mbeumo was the recruitment team's top target, but the wage demands, combined with Brentford's asking price, put Newcastle off before the player intimated his preference to join United. There are a number of different options in play. But fair play. Like Luke Edwards is clearly a Newcastle fan, and he can't exactly hide it here. Now, I've had it confirmed by multiple sources, by the way, right? Newcastle never wanted Cunha, right? I didn't like her anyway. It's good fun to watch, man. It's good fun to watch. They've had a proper meltdown over the Cunha and Mbeumo situations. I think... Who would you say are the most insufferable fans in the UK? I think it has to be Arsenal, number one. I think it's Arsenal. And then it's close between Scousers and Geordies. It really is. I think Arsenal are an easy leader, number one. And it's kind of a photo finish between Geordies and Scousers. Probably just go Scousers, but it's close. It's really close. Anyway. Most of you down here are saying Arsenal. It's definitely Arsenal. It has to be Arsenal. Someone saying Villa down there. Should have done that as a poll. It's Arsenal by a mile. Anyway, right. The latest on Mbeumo has come from the BBC and come from Simon Stone. United are in talks to sign him. We already know that. Despite that opening bid, no agreement has been reached. But United are confident that they can agree a deal. Let me just pause some notifications there. Bam, bam, bam. Let me turn that off there. Sorry. Anyway. I can't imagine it's too long before we get to here we go on Mbeumo. When do United... Our pre-season starts on the 19th of July, right? I think it's 19th of July. So I'm guessing that players will go back to Carrington. What normally happens? Is it a week before? Or is it 2 weeks before? I don't quite know. But effectively, June is our month, right? June is the big one. If United can get as much done as they possibly can in June, we're going to be in such a strong position. We all want it. Every football fan wants it. Get your signings in, all done before pre-season. Give the manager the biggest opportunity to bond with his squad, to get his principals into the new signings. Good, great. It feels like United have actually got a possibility of doing that this summer, like a genuine possibility, rather than it being like a sort of fantasy land and just a hope as a fan. Cunha's already done, and Mbeumo, that should... I'd be surprised if that's still going in a week. And a little separate video. It's a cracking video from Stretford Paddock with Kyle Anker. And there was part of it where Kyle was enjoying himself on a tactics board. And I remember having conversations here saying, look, now that United have got Cunha and we're going to get Mbeumo, I'm not saying we don't need a striker, but I had questions and I was like, what about Xerxes? And Carl was sort of explaining the positions of the two number 10s and how he'll want his right wing back to cut inside, and it kind of makes it a bit congested through the middle. So the idea of Xerxes coming in and dropping deep would probably be a bit of an overload. So kind of what United will need is a striker who holds his position as a centre forward. And that's why we're going to have a conversation about two strikers this morning. One who I still think there's really no... I still think there's no chance of Osimhen, but I'm going to run through the sort of curveball that happened yesterday. Dean saying, were you the first to report on United's PSR position? It's all over the media. No, I ran through it yesterday. That was the excellent Mark Critchley in The Athletic. I covered it from that article. I'm just surprised it didn't come out earlier. It just kind of goes to show you that some people aren't doing their jobs properly. It's a job. Dino saying, please look at Lorenzo Luca. He's 6'7". Is he hard as fuck though? Get so red excited. I still think that's my favourite chant ever. Zlatan Ibrahim. Well, to be fair, we won the double that year, so it had some good memories alongside of it. It was an absolute cracking chant. Was that the year I went to Seville as well? I can't remember. Then it might have been the year after. 6'5". Look, Shegsy, restart your YouTube if you have any issues. I can see that my audio is working fine now, so it's not on my end. It was me at the start, actually, though, because I accidentally turned it down. Right. The curveball on Osimhen is this. Yesterday, Fabrizio Romano, exclusive. Al Hilal submit official bid to Napoli for Osimhen as their top target. The proposals were 65 million euros plus the 5 mil in add-ons. That's his 70 mil release clause. Decision is up to Napoli now. And then, a couple of hours later, understand the Victor Osimhen deal with Al Hilal is about to collapse as there's no agreement with the player. Curveball. Now, I kind of, in jest on Twitter yesterday, I was like, did you imagine like saying no to Saudi? Because you see that 700 grand a week offer you're giving me? Yeah, I actually want 900. All right, and then I'm in. 700, no, I can't do that. But 900, I'm in. I don't actually know what the offer was. But if you're turning down Saudi money, I think you just don't want to move to Saudi, right? And it really would be it's kind of been a bit of a shame, let's be totally honest, what's happened with Osimhen over the last year. He shouldn't have been playing for Galatasaray last season. He's too good a striker. By the way, Neil, I can see down there talking about Super Chats today. For some reason, my software isn't working properly today, so I can't actually go back and see them. So I need to read them in real time. So I apologise about that. If you sent something at the start, I wouldn't have seen it. But I'll see it now. Yeah, apologies about that. Something just went wrong. I'm going to ask you... Actually, I can't even bloody do a poll. I've got to do it on my phone. God damn. Software's nice when it works. Can I do it on my phone? No. Can't do it on my phone either. Oh, great, never mind. No polls today. Deal with it. I was going to ask you, Osimhen or Gyokeres. Now, and you're talking about going to Saudi speaks volume about a player's ambition. Of course it does. That's why Bruno didn't go anywhere near them. Daz, you saying I respect him not wanting to go to Saudi? Yeah, I would as well. Don't know why I wasn't really that. Don't know why I lost my balls there. But it still strikes me that Osimhen's wage demands would be too much. Now, he's got that 70 million euro release clause, which isn't too far off what Gyokeres would cost, I suppose. I imagine Osimhen would ask for more wages, but yeah, fire it in the chats. Like, just type Gyokeres or Osimhen, right? Which one do you prefer? Because, yeah, I did a video about Gyokeres before the Europa League final, and I was like, it doesn't feel like United have got a chance to sign Gyokeres unless we win the Europa League and get Champions League football. I felt pretty confident on that. But the reason I think that the conversation might have changed now, might have shifted, is what's happened since. All right? Now, at this time, it's only sort of whispers coming through. I can see down here. I can't do a poll today for some reason. It's really annoying me. Most of the chat I can see down there is about Gyokeres, I'll be honest. Quite a few. I'd probably go 70-30 for Gyokeres. Thereabouts. Maybe 60-40. So either way, it's looking like majority Gyokeres. So Ben Jacobs was speaking yesterday saying, look, he's open to a move to United, even if they don't have the Champions League. And I think the thing that, in terms of the momentum around, that's why I titled the video today, about the momentum behind any Gyokeres move. I didn't think there was any momentum at all. I thought it was dead in the water after the Europa League final loss against Spurs. But since then, and bear in mind that Chelsea needed a striker and they've signed Delap. Arsenal need a striker and they still need a striker. And the links with Gyokeres are not major right now between Arsenal and Gyokeres. He's obviously on their list, but I would say Sesko is higher on that list. Liverpool, I think, are in the market for a striker. Haven't really heard anything about Liverpool either. I'll ask you a question down here. Is it a massive red flag for you, the fact that every club isn't like clamoring to snap up Gyokeres? Or do you think that's kind of irrelevant? It's just that, you know, certain clubs have got certain targets and they're going after him. Does it concern you that there aren't loads of clubs going for him? Or do you see that as, well, it's an advantage for United to take advantage of? Because I've seen like split opinions on that one. So I'll be interested to know where you sit on this. And Jason, you're saying, why do you think Arsenal aren't in for him? I think he's on the list. But I don't know, just haven't seen that many links. Yeah, I've seen more links with Liverpool and Ekitike. Also seen that with Chelsea too. Even after bloody Liam Delap. Parkeri saying not a problem at all. Quite a few of you saying not a problem. I think his age is a factor. What is he, 27? I think he's 27. And that's... every player, every signing comes with risks. But for Gyokeres, at the age that he is, you need him to come in and just bang in 30 goals for 3 seasons. That's the kind of risk you take with signing a player of that age. If you get Sesko in and it doesn't quite work, you have a much bigger resale value than you would for Gyokeres. So in terms of long-term sustainability, it gives you more of an out if it doesn't work. Sesko does compared to Gyokeres. Let me see what you're saying down here. Striker talk is boring. I don't think it is. And it's where the conversation is right now. If there was a conversation to be had about... I've already did a video this week on midfielders. But right now, there's not massive links to any. Although I really hope that we try and take the piss with Aston Villa. I really hope we do. I'll speak about that in a little bit. Lack of Premier League experience putting people off? Not really, because the exact same thing exists with Sesko or Ekitike or Gyokeres or Osimhen. The majority of the good strikers who are available in the market this summer don't have Premier League experience. Has Gyokeres told other clubs he only wants one move? Potentially. But I find it curious. I do find it curious. It doesn't mean I think that Gyokeres all of a sudden is a terrible striker. Oh, no one's in for him. Oh, we can't touch him with a barge pole. I just find it a bit interesting. Because of all the strikers that were going to be available this summer, I would probably have predicted him to be the one who was on Chelsea's list, who was on Arsenal's list and Liverpool's. Right. Anyway, my lunchtime video will be on that because I think it's definitely worth a conversation. And speaking of Aston Villa, right? We'll talk about midfielders first. I already asked this question yesterday, so I'm not going to ask it again. People are talking about Gyokeres and his aerial ability. Let's go back here and hold up here, right? Talk about Gyokeres and his aerial ability. I've seen this debate in this conversation. I was a bit confused by it. People saying it's a problem that Gyokeres isn't as good in the air as Osimhen. And I would just encourage you to go back and look at the goals that he scored at Sporting under Ruben Amorim. And how many of those are cutbacks? How many of those are low drilled crosses? That's going to be the bread and butter for United next season. The sweaty goals from FIFA. Balls into the box that instead of just floating across in, and sometimes you can do that. And when you get a striker like Osimhen who really can power it in and kind of create a goal from nothing, it's a massive strength. But the system that Amorim wants to just keep putting balls into the box from those inside forward positions and the overlapping wing backs, pulling the ball back between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. That's like the perfect position. Striker running onto it, sweeps it in. If it's not a striker, it's going to be one of your 2 number 10s running in. Late runs into the box. It's not going to be... I'm sure you will get whipped early crosses, and that's going to be an asset. But I think largely what Amorim will want from his centre forward next season is not going to be to get on the end of headers. It's going to be in the right position at the right time for those cutbacks. That's going to be what I think we want. And that's where the overloads come in, because you can't mark the wing backs and the number 10, so you can't stop somebody from reaching the byline. And if they get that right ball in, you're going to get a good chance. Both, let's be totally honest, right? Yeah, Osimhen can do both. Yeah, Osimhen's an elite level striker. Gyokeres is an elite level striker. Do I think either of them would be bad signings at United? No. It's just I would prefer Gyokeres. Just personal opinion on that one, really. Getting either of these strikers, we would have to let Rasmus or Xerxes go. Well, we'll speak about Højlund later, but United should be letting Højlund go. I think Xerxes got the quality, and I think he deserves a second season. There's potential in Xerxes. There was potential in Højlund, and there still is that. He's not going to leave United and never be a good footballer again. I just don't think. It's going to happen in a United shirt, and I think United have to sell him. But going back to Villa and what I'm saying, right? A lot of you in the comments are speaking about this man. And you know, my red flag with Emi Martinez is so many United fans, understandably, we just want a goalkeeper that we don't even have to think about, that we don't even have to talk about. We just want a goalkeeper to just, do your job. And then just no concerns. Right? Emi Martinez strikes me as a goalkeeper who does have that quality, but he's going to rub United fans up the wrong way quite a few times. He's clearly a better goalkeeper than Onana, but he's going to have some of those moments in him. And I don't really think United can afford to get a goalkeeper that has those. I suppose every goalkeeper has those moments in him, man. It is such a tough position being a goalkeeper, isn't it? Because you have to be flawless. And if you're not flawless, it invariably leads to a goal. That's why our defensive mistakes with Onana last season was so expensive. Because he made so bloody many of them. And they kept leading to goals. Now, Emi Martinez is going to be leaving Villa this summer. I think he's going to be going Saudi, but maybe he doesn't want to go to Saudi. We'll find out. Villa's PSR position, which we ran through yesterday, is awful. So if I was going to be looking at players from a strategic squad building perspective, I already told you who I want. I'd want Morgan Rogers. But if we're going to sign Cunha and we're going to sign Mbeumo, I mean, there were probably better players that we could sign from Villa than Rogers in terms of the squad holes. And that's where you're looking at Onana and Kamara here. Go after him, man. Villa fans are just going to get angry at me for saying it, but that's like football is ultimately a business. And you screwed up business-wise, lads. You spent massive amounts of money. The ambition is there, and I can't do anything but praise Villa's ambition. But it hasn't matched the revenue growth. So you've reached a saturation point now where you're overspending versus your means. And you can't do that anymore, right? You can't do that anymore. Don't be angry at me, but that's just the way that the rules are made, all right? And they've reached a point now where they're going, crap. We're probably going to have to sell some players. It's why John Duran left, and it's why they're going to be selling players. I would be having conversations about these two. Again, you can choose which one you prefer, Onana or Kamara. Onana was in my dream signings last summer. I'd love to sign him again this summer. Right? And if we could do a poll, I'll probably put a poll down here. But back to Martinez. Do I think he'd be an upgrade on Onana? Yes, but I don't think that's particularly hard. Would he be my first choice goalkeeper? No, but my first choice is actually going to Barcelona, so I don't really know who I've got down as a second choice. Lack of Champions League football has done them over. Woo. Shame. Although Chelsea got in as a consequence, so I can't really be too happy. Let's be totally honest. Gary saying, according to Villa fans I know, they reckon selling Bay to Saudi will solve everything. Mate, they are teetering on the edge. Are Villa being linked with any players? Don't know. Yeah, mate, it's Villa's wage bill. Villa's wage bill last season was 96% of their turnover. Do you imagine like running that business? I've already done like a comparable example. Like you're running your own business, you're making 10 grand a month. What are your wages for your staff that month? Oh, they're £9,600. Huh? You what, mate? And actually, even thinking about that, surely Villa must be like making substantial losses. I don't know why that didn't even cross my mind. If 96% of their turnover is on wages, what about the actual other costs of running the business? Don't know. Yeah, Villa sold Duran, but their PS. Let's see. I think there's opportunities to be going at Villa with cheeky bids. Might piss them off. Don't really care. Go at them with cheeky bids. We've obviously got a sort of a line into Villa because they just had Marcus Rashford on loan. Test the waters, man. I think you should test the waters. Make your choice around Onana and Kamara, but test the waters. Both Premier League promoted. Well, obviously Onana would be significantly more expensive. I don't think they're going to be taking Rashford. I don't think they've ever taken Rashford because Rashford never wanted to play for Aston Villa. You can say I'm lying. I know that's true, man. I don't know that's true. I haven't asked him. There's no way Rashford thought, you know what? After everything, it's time to move on from United. And I'm going to move to Villa. I know that Villa last season were a significantly better football club than us. They were in the Champions League. He was playing against PSG. He had some big gains and big moments. But I'm telling you, Marcus Rashford did not think that at the time where he ever left Manchester United that the club that he would be moving to would be Aston Villa. He will not want to join them on a permanent deal. He's sitting there waiting for Barcelona to ring. I saw yesterday that Barcelona were in for Luis Diaz. So maybe Barca are in for a winger. I don't know Barca's plans this summer. So it could well be, like, if the Luis Diaz situation doesn't come to fruition, that Marcus Rashford might be the alternative choice for Barcelona. I don't know. I still don't think it will happen. Right? I still don't think it will happen. Shane there with a comment that's caught my eye. Some guests on your show would really level it up. It's something that I want to bring back in. I used to do interviews on here quite a bit. I remember interviewing Andy Mitten, had Ben Jacobs on a few times. I've had lots of people on here. But it's just about fitting it in. With the content that we're doing, that's why I enjoyed doing the podcast, because the podcast was kind of similar to the show, but a 15-minute condensed version. I'd love to bring interviews back to the podcast and to be able to do that, but it's just sheer amount of work. Kind of got a little bit too much. So that's why the summer break with the pod is really good for me anyway. And then we'll see where we go after that. Barca are going to be have three keepers. Well, they've got, what's his name? Szczesny. I think they're going to be renewing him. Ter Stegen and Joan Garcia, which I'm still annoyed about, man. He must have wanted to play, right? He must have wanted to play for Barca to accept. Is he their third choice? I don't know what's going on. Is he going to be loaned out again? I have no idea what's going on. Goalkeepers are still a bit whiffy, is what I would call the news around goalkeepers. Let's move on to speak about sales, and we'll speak about this lad. Mastantuono was a player that we were clearly interested in signing, right? The 17-year-old from River Plate. We've had conversations, and I was like, wouldn't it be awesome every summer if United could pull off a Lenny Yoro type signing? Going out there and having the ability to spot the right teenage talent to sign, top level, elite level, going in there, and we got Lenny Yoro last summer, was the buzz of the summer. Caught us all off guard. No one really expected it. And Lenny Yoro, after the 3-month delay at the start, developed across the course of the season, and then he looked fantastic by the end of it. The development that you really saw, that's why I always love watching about players, and that's why for me those signings will always be my favourite types of signings that I see at United. Look, I know that Robin van Persie was an incredible signing. I know that we lost the league on goal difference. He came in, banged in 30 goals and won the league, and it was awesome to watch. I love watching the development of players. Watching them turn from like a talent into a star. I just like watching the curve at United. I think my favourite signings at United have always been those sorts of signings. And Yoro, I think, is going to be one of those. Next season is going to be even better than last season. He's just going to keep developing in front of your eyes, and it's awesome to watch players grow with the club. That's what I think anyway. And it also gives more energy to the club when that happens. Because when you get players who are on the upward trajectory, they kind of bring the club up with them. So everything sort of, it suits. Everyone wins. That's what I call it. Yeah, Aiden Heaven looks class as well. Aiden Heaven looks class. Anyway, Mastantuono, the update is, it looks, well, you can see there, it looks like he's going around Madrid. Fabrizio Romano saying that here we go is coming soon. Battle is over. The battle of Mastantuono is over. Calm down. Anyway. $45 million was a Spenny release clause for a 17-year-old who plays in South America. Sam Yankee saying, what happened to the Diego Leon guy? We've got you covered. Might do that video tomorrow. Might do that video Sunday. But we're going to have an update for you. What happened in the 4 months that we've signed him? How did he play? Any sort of standout points or concerns? Going to bring it to you. Don't say I don't treat you well. So what's happened to Diego Leon will be coming soon. And look, everyone just pray. Erik ten Hag and Antony might be the greatest love affair that football has ever seen. Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports Germany saying that Leverkusen are monitoring Antony and he's on the list. Nothing more than that, but he's on the list. Come on, Eric. Come on, Eric. Come on. Come on. Come on. I wonder, like, imagine the conversations there, like in the Leverkusen board level. Like Ten Hag comes in, he goes, right, should we talk about transfers? Antony. Hey, look, Antony had a cracking loan at Real Betis. That Real Betis loan went as good as it... You know how United fans were getting angry? I said, were they getting angry? I think United fans were getting frustrated that Antony left and all of a sudden he's banging in like 30-yard curlers. He's scoring right foot volleys. He's banging in free kicks and stuff like that. It was frustrating. But that was the best loan spell that we could possibly have asked for. Because Antony's genuinely in the transfer window now. Without that, we would be struggling. Struggling to sell him. So fingers crossed, this actually happens. Fingers crossed, Erik ten Hag gives United a little cheeky 30 mil. Come on, Eric. Do the damn thing. Dean, you're saying, I'm looking forward to watching the Diego Leon video. Heaven, Chido, and some other younger players. Sam, I'm actually looking forward to this season. I'm not looking forward to it yet. I'm enjoying my downtime, Dean. I'm enjoying the comment that someone left the other day saying it's more enjoyable being a United fan right now when they're not playing football, which I think is very fair and correct. Because right now I'm enjoying it. This last week I'm enjoying what I'm watching. And part of why I'm enjoying it is, again, this. It's an awesome place. I took a... Let me show you this, right? This will make you laugh. Well, not too much. Don't be rude. You can laugh if you want. Pardon me. Sorry. I'll show you a picture here. United People's TV 10 years ago. Man, look at that Barnet. Look at that. Top head. Yeah, I look better. Yeah, go on, boys. Anyway, that was United People's TV 10 years ago. Back in the Ball Street studio, down there, got my mic clipped up there. Had no idea what I was doing. Had no idea that I would still be here in 10 years. But we've gone from that to this. Big up to everyone, man. It's just cool. Sometimes you it's nice to sort of take a step back. I age better. I definitely age well. Man, you should have seen me. When I was 16, I was like your cliche, wouldn't touch him with a barge pole teenager. Short, fat, ginger, spotty, braces. Ladies and gents, it's always better to don't peak in school, right? Save your 30s. Slightly younger looking now. Hey, lighting is incredible, man. Don't worry about that. Lighting can do a lot. Anyway, big up to all of you. It's cool, isn't it? Let's move on to speak about other exits. And in fact, we'll go to the whiteboard. Why not? Let's see what's going on. We're up to around about 39 names on the board. You can see which ones are actually credible or not. And there's not too many. There's not too many. This board is going to be full. This board is going to be full. But let's have a quick look at what is the latest on exits. All right. No update on Rashford. No update really on Højlund. I'll speak about Højlund now, actually. Højlund was linked with Inter Milan. And Simone Inzaghi left Inter. He's now gone to Al Hilal. Goodbye. Christian Kivu is coming in as the replacement for Inzaghi. Does he want Højlund at Inter? Don't know. That's what DiMarzio is reporting. Let's find out. As it stands, the only link we've got to Højlund leaving is Inter. But the fact that they've got a new manager puts question marks on that. The Garnacho Napoli situation has not really gone any further forward. Sancho, meh. And Anthony is probably the one where there's a slight update on. He's on the list of Leverkusen. His agents in Seville this week. Have Real Betis just sold a player? Can't remember. I think they might have. So they might have a little bit of dosh. I don't think they're going to have enough for what we'll ask for Anthony. And this is the situation with Gyokeres and Mbeumo. There's not really, let's be totally honest, there's not really anything going on with midfielders. You could probably throw some names in if you want to. You could throw some names in if you want to from a goalkeeper perspective. But again, it's all been a bit whiffy at this moment in time. I think, was it Cardoso? There you go, to Athletic. I thought they just made some money. So maybe the situation has changed at Real Betis. Maybe they're going to have a little bit of money. As it stands, I don't think there's much going on signings-wise other than Mbeumo. There will be more, though. There will be more. In terms of Alvaro Carreras or Fernandez, Real Madrid and Benfica, they're still in contact. It's a complete non-update on Alvaro. We've now found out that United will get 20% of any deal over 5 million. So probably at best United will earn about 8 million from the Alvaro Carreras move to Real Madrid if he goes there. But that's at best. That's at best. Gary, you're talking about a second bid on Mbeumo. I haven't seen that from anywhere credible as it stands. I've seen there's whiffy news, but that's it. It's all a bit whiffy. There's a little, speaking of whiffy news, Mark Ogden here on Osimhen. Mate, Mark Ogden, I swear, like back in the day, if I remember correctly, Mark Ogden was the journalist who broke the news of Sir Alex Ferguson retiring. That's how long I've been doing this for, and that's how long I remember. Anyway, he's not particularly got that same sort of link now. He's saying that United will not be pursuing a move for Victor Osimhen. United believe Osimhen is not the profile of striker required by Ruben Amorim. I'm not quite sure about that. I think that would be a pretty good one. There you go. There's another little random bit of news for you. We can cover this. I mean, Osimhen definitely. What would make Osimhen not the profile of a striker United want? He's powerful. He's athletic. He's good in possession. He's good out of possession. He can play as that lone centre forward. He's strong. I don't know. I'm not really sure how he wouldn't be a profile of striker required. He's athletic as hell. I don't know. Off the field profile? I don't know. You could have conversations about his wages if you wanted to. Maybe it's off the field. I don't quite know. But another little bit of random news here, and I wish him the absolute best. Marseille have reached a verbal agreement to sign Angel Gomez. I think it was a few months ago when I was like, the idea of Christian Eriksen leaving on a free, and then Angel Gomez coming in on a free. Good. That's a decent squad upgrade. I can deal with that. I don't know why I'm dancing. And then I just realised that just wouldn't be a good move for United. I can't say that United's biggest problem is the lack of athleticism that we've got in this team, and then suggest that we bring in Angel Gomez into the Premier League. I just don't think it fits. It's not to say that all small players can't possibly work in the Premier League, and João Neves has shown that size isn't everything when you're coming to be an essential midfielder, but I just don't think it would have worked with Angel Gomez. I'm happy for him. I hope it works out at Marseille. Just remember who he's going to play with now. That's a shame. JC, dude, good morning to you, man. How are you doing? Gifting 20. Some of the generous people we've got in this community, it absolutely blows my mind. It really, really does. I think it's the greatest compliment I can give to this community. Is the best part of it is the biggest members of it just want to invite other people into it. It's awesome, man. Am I concerned in any way about the lack of movement on outgoings? I think that's a really fair question, Alex. And I wouldn't say I'm massively concerned at this point, but I want there to be movement. And it's just it's such a necessity. And when I look at United's signings now, so we've got Cunha done and Mbeumo's coming in. That's 2. Realistically, I think United are probably going to get 3 more. So there's 3 more transfers that we've got to negotiate in terms of signings. When it comes to sales, I mean, we can run through the list now if you want to. We can just look at this. Leaving. Rashford, Højlund, Garnacho, Sancho, Anthony, Bayindir, Onana, Malacia. That's 8, I think, that should be leaving. And I think we should be send Shaw out on loan with an obligation. So that's 9. And I think Casemiro, we should be selling Casemiro and reinvesting his wages into different parts of the squad. Just like 10. We need 3 more signings, but 10 sales. So that's where I wouldn't say I'm massively concerned about it, because it's the 6th of June. There's lots and lots of time. And realistically, it's more important to make your signings early than it is to make your sales early. Right? Doesn't matter to United whether a player is sold now or sold on the 31st of August. In an ideal world, you'd sell them before the preseason so they're not in and around the squad. It's more important that signings happen early. Yeah, and of course, that could well be part of it. I don't really, I suppose, for anybody who doesn't know, the 1st of July is when the new PSR year account begins. So anything that goes on the books before the 1st of July will go on this year's PSR. So Man United will know exactly their position on this year. Man United might be like, lads, we're actually totally fine for this year. So what we should probably do is agree with Wolves that we'll pay the transfer fee on the 1st of July. What we should probably do is really accelerate all of our sales past the 1st of July. Kind of delay the accounting so it goes on to next year's accounts. That could be happening. You can only speculate on that, right? Someone down there saying that he would have been a good signing. Talking about Angel Gomez. I think United can do better than Angel Gomez in midfield. That would have been a case of just signing him for the sake of signing, rather than Angel Gomez being the ideal free signing for us in midfield. And I think what United need this summer, because we don't have any European football next season, we need quality, not quantity. That's what this summer should be in terms of signings. And speaking of signings, I just want to have a quick conversation here, because I'm confused as to some of the discourse. Stephen, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the map. Map's coming up later. Dorgu, right? I just wanted to show you this, okay? This is from Danish Scout, and this is a list of the top 10 players aged between 16 and 21 who are defenders in terms of progressive carries. And you can see a certain Patrick Dorgu in the top 6 twice. Which is really quite impressive. And I just wanted to speak to you about Dorgu. Like, what's your opinion on what you've seen so far from Dorgu in a United shirt? Because there's obvious potential. This dude is very good at bringing the ball forward, progressive carries, ball carrying. That's what I said is one of the biggest problems that we have in this squad. Dorgu is naturally doing that in abundance. How do you think about him so far? Where are your concerns and your questions about him? I thought that was an interesting stat. You got Raw saying, with Anthony, it's my understanding they still owe 32 million on him PSR-wise, so selling him for that wipes the debt clean. I believe that's what it is. So in terms of the amortized value of Anthony now, if United were to sell Anthony for around about 30 million, then it gets that to zero. Whereas if we sell him for under 32 million, he will still count as a loss on the books for the next X amount of years. I don't know. Let me see what you're saying about Dorgu. Dorgu's there twice. He is there twice. He's there at Lecce and he's there at United. Danny's saying Dorgu's getting a lot of hate from our fans. I don't get it. Once his crossing improves, he'll get it. Needs to work on his crosses. He'll improve a lot. Least minutes in there as well, but that's per 90, that list. So it's actually more impressive that Balde is there because he's got over the double the minutes and nearly the same amount of carries. His finishing and crossing could improve. Great for his age. Just needs to improve the final ball. I think he's been solid. Raw. And I think that's the best word to use to describe him. He's raw. It's almost like a 20-year-old has joined Manchester United mid-season in our worst ever season in the Premier League. He's come to a new country and he's settling in. He actually settled in immediately. His first 3, his appearances before, was it Leicester he got sent off? I can't remember where that red card was. His appearances before that red card and after that red card were very different. He came in and had immediate momentum, and the red card kind of knocked his confidence a little bit. And then certain things that he was finding easy to do beforehand, he was struggling with after. But I've seen potential in him. For sure, I've seen potential. And I've seen a lot of potential in Aiden Heaven, who looks far more measured than I think any of us would have expected. Exactly, that's the way I would describe it. I think it's a pretty solid first half of a season in a United shirt. I think there's potential there, but he's going to have to improve. Of course he is. Everyone's going to have to improve. But I'm looking forward to seeing him down the left and Ahmad down the right consistently next season. What do you reckon our back three is going to be? I wonder if next season you might see a little bit more of Aiden Heaven left centre. Because I don't think we'll sign a centre-back. I think in an ideal world, we might sign a wide centre-back that can play on the right, but I don't think we will. I don't think we've got the money this summer. I think you might see Aiden Heaven left centre-back, Yoro as the actual central centre-back, and Mazraoui as the right centre-back. And that's why I put down, not everyone liked it, but that's why I put down De Ligt to be sold next summer. Maguire's definitely going next summer. But yeah, I get frustrated with that central centre-back because it's part of the Amorim style and system. He wants that central centre-back to step forward into midfield, and Maguire doesn't like playing in midfield. He can't do it. He just can't do it. And De Ligt doesn't particularly like it either. Yoro, on the other hand, I think he can. Diego Leon will come in. Wouldn't surprise me if Diego Leon next season, you'll be seeing a lot more of him in the under-21s. Martinez, I forgot about Martinez. Jesus, I'm massively concerned about Martinez. I'll be totally honest. If he can recover fully next season, I'll be delighted. But I'm concerned that the version and it's totally understandable, by the way, after a double serious injury like that, that a player is changed and that a player is different. We might well sign a centre-back this summer. Maybe. Diego Leon going to Lausanne. It's not outside the realms of possibility. I suppose we'll find out in the pre-season. Colin, of course I'm waffling. That's what I do. And if you see waffling as having a conversation, then, well, fair play, Colin. I bet you're fun at parties. Right, today is Friday, so let me waffle a little bit more here, peeps, and let me get the map out. If you haven't seen the United People's TV map before and you're new in town, welcome aboard, first of all. Second of all, we've been doing this every Friday for a long, long time. Add 3 or 4 of you onto the map. So let me know what city and what country you're watching from, because it shows where everybody is from all around the world watching United People's TV. Look at that stuff. 736 map pins we've got on here now. I'd love to, at some point, I've already said this before, I'd love to be able to like get a digital version of this. And like, I don't know, maybe I'll try and figure this out for the wall. Imagine you could have like a digital version of the map that came up there on Fridays. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Yeah, real party pooper I am. We've got Chris watching from Värnamo in Sweden. I've not heard of Värnamo before. Jönköping. What else we got down here? We've got Magnum watching from Hillerød in Denmark. The Scandies are out in force here. Let's balance it out by choosing someone from Finland. We've got Wes watching from Georgia in USA. Awesome. Let's get onto the map. Georgia. Anybody listen to the new Lil Wayne album yet? I listened to a few songs this morning. And one more. We've got Yuvraj watching from Rajasthan in India. Awesome. Thank you all for your comments there. I love this map. It's one of the things I won't say I'm most proud of, but I think it's just a good idea that we've continued the whole way through. Back at the start, we used to do a map every single day. Then I realized it kind of got a little bit boring for people, so we kept it to just Fridays. That is it for another week here, and this is the first full week here in United People's TV studios. Thank you all for enabling me to do what I do. I hope you enjoyed the live this week. Hey, look, fingers crossed we get an impromptu live coming. There's a here we go. There's some big news that breaks. If there's big news that breaks, I will be here. If not, I'll see you live on Monday. But remember, lunchtime video today on speaking about Gyokeres. We're going to have a video about Diego Leon and how he's getting on and what's actually happened with Diego Leon in the last few months. I'm going to cover that. And maybe we'll get another cheeky video out on Sunday. We'll see. Everyone have a cracking weekend. There's no United to ruin it. And I can say that for the next few weeks. All right? Big up to all of you. If you can, please do drop a like on the video. I really need to be better at asking you guys to like the video. I'm awful at doing like calls to actions. But if you can, drop a like on the video. Have a wonderful weekend. Take it easy.